are live with Pete and Heck on TIO Al Friends. We got no TIO Al. We got no Gallo right now, but we might see some special appearances from the homies in a little bit. But don't worry, we got you covered. Pete Kennedy and Hector Beauchamp right here on Uptown Sports TV. It's TIO Al Friends. And if I forgot to say it, wake your asses up because we got some baseball to talk about. The Yankees are off today. The Mets are live, currently winning 1-0 against the Atlanta Braves. And Hector is here saying what up to me and to the people out there. What up, Heck?
Chilling, baby. Pow, 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 pow. It's your boy Heck hanging out with Pete. Like Pete said, no Al for the moment and Gallo as well, but they may be stopping in just to say what up to the chat. We got over 80 people that is watching us right now. If you guys can, if you're on YouTube, drop a comment in the chat, hit that like button, hit that follow button, click the link in the bio, jump on over to YouTube and join the conversation. Pete, I'll kick it over to you, my guy.
Yes, sir. We are here, man. The Mets are up 1-0, but we got to talk some Yankees as well. Also, just to mention, to give some context, Gallo and Al are both at Citi Field right now. So if we get the call in from the boys, it'll be live from Citi Field as hopefully the Mets can find a way to take two in this series, which is much, much needed. And we will talk all about what's going on in Queens because there's a lot to talk about. But first and foremost, also, we will get to the New York Knicks coaching situation because I know I got some thoughts on that. I know Heck got some thoughts on that. And it feels like a ticking clock, just like tick, 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 tick. When is this thing going to be announced? When are the interviews going to start rolling in? We'll get to that as well. But first and foremost, let's talk about the New York Yankees, which is a rare thing for the TIO Al Friends show to do off rip is to talk Yankees, but it's deservedly so. The Mets are live right now. We got Hector right here, the Yankees expert as well, to talk about all this fun stuff. So Heck, it's almost been overshadowed by the Mets struggles that the Yankees have been not awesome either. It's not been as bad as the Mets have been over the last 2 weeks, but they've been a little bit in and out, to say it nicely here. And you're starting to feel some pressures from that offense and feeling a little Judge dependent, if you will. And now the pitching staff is come to earth just a little bit in different facets. So right now, do you have a sense of concern? I know there's been a lot of Boone jargon thrown around as well. So where are you sitting at? Are you sitting at a confidence place, a place of strength, or are you feeling some of these pressures that are actually existing in the Bronx?
Well, as both a Yankee fan and a Yankee content creator, it feels like in the month of June, I've been teetering on the edge. I've been on the edge of the mountain watching the New York Yankees because you brought up the starting pitching, right? We could touch on the bullpen as well. We got Luke Weaver, who just came back from injury, but it's not the Yankees pitching, Pete. It has been the Yankees offense. We've seen Aaron Judge to end the month of March, going into June, his batting average is basically 400. His batting average has dropped almost 50 points completely. And when Aaron Judge is not hitting, the New York Yankees do not win games. And that's the one issue I have had with the New York Yankees dating back for some years right now. When you look at how this lineup is constructed, how the Yankees are built 1 through 9, it's built around Aaron Judge. And you can't rely on Aaron Judge to get you every hit, every RBI, every home run. You need other guys to step up. To start the season, Paul Goldschmidt was having a phenomenal season. He has come down back to earth just a little bit. His batting average is still over 300. He's playing phenomenal defense. Trent Grisham has been awesome as well. But Anthony Volpe has his struggles here and there. Austin Wells has totally, completely disappeared offensively. He still is one of the top catchers when it comes to his defense. But the number one issue with this team right now, Pete, has been the offense.
Yeah, and I know me and you made like side-by-side videos talking about like the extra innings struggle. And I know the extra inning thing is really kind of a small potato situation in the grand scheme of things. What is it, 7 games of extra innings? And yeah, they're 1-6 in those. But it's almost kind of like a microcosm of some of their issues at large, right? Like you're talking about the lineup, and you can look at the numbers and you can be deceived. You say, oh, you know, Goldschmidt's been really good. Grisham, like you just said, you went through the whole list. All of them together look like the numbers have been fine, but in the moments of these games, you don't know who you're going to get inside those big moments. You know what I mean? And I think that's been the issue for the Yankees for, frankly, the past few years. And that's why last year with the Soto Judge combination, you felt that much more at ease that one of the two of them was going to be able to get it done. And anything outside of that was icing. Now you're kind of back to that one guy who, if he doesn't hit, you're like, where could it possibly come from today, right? And you get the Jazz moment, you get the Volpe moment every once in a while. It just hasn't been enough. Is this something, though, that is going to just be the fact of the matter for this team? You know what I mean? Like, is this just going to be what the offense always is for the rest of the season? Or is there something that could flip to make this actually more sustainable?
If you're a team that's trying to make a deep postseason run and return back to the World Series like you did last year with Juan Soto, who's starting to heat up over there in Queens, if you're trying to be that team, you need to shake up the offense. You can't rely on the offense that you have right now. And I know a lot of Yankee fans, they're pointing to DJ LeMahieu, who has found the mountain of youth, the fountain of youth, and he has returned to DJ Lamaki now because he's hitting over 270, if I'm not mistaken, as well, playing okay defense at second base. I wish the Yankees would move him to third base and put Jazz back at second base where he's better defensively than at third base, but that's a whole different conversation. But if you're a team, like I said, you have so many different question marks. One, what's going to happen with Austin Wells? Because Austin Wells is hitting below 200, damn near the Mendoza line, right? What is Jason Dominguez going to give you in left field? How is his defense going to play in the postseason? Do you trust him defensively in the outfield late in the game during a postseason, whether it's the first or second round, to make a play when a play needs to be made? Or do you have to go with Trent Grisham? There's a lot of more question marks on this Yankees lineup than there is on the starting rotation or the bullpen. And that's something that Brian Cashman needs to address sooner rather than later.
And of course, when you go through these little streaks here, right? They get swept by Boston. They lose, they get swept. Oh, they didn't get swept by the Angels. They lost 3 out of 4 to the Angels, 2 out of 3 to the Cincinnati Reds. Like, all these things are just being highlighted at an absolutely different level. And then again, you look at the stats over the last 15 games, which I just kind of went through. It hasn't been great from a win-loss perspective, but you see Trent Grisham, his last 11 games, 289 average. Cody Bellinger, he's at 261 over the last 11 games. Jason Dominguez, 289 over his last 14 games. Like, if you are seeing those numbers, Jazz Chisholm, by the way, 320 over his last 12 games. If you're seeing those numbers from that many guys not named Aaron Judge, you're like, yo,
you're rocking.
We're probably undefeated right now, right? Like, no. Well, Judge has also had a little bit of a downslide, especially since I made a TikTok praising him for hitting 390, and then he went 1 for 15 in the next 3 games. Like, so he hasn't been great. He's only batting 200 over the last 14 games. But, that's kind of the point here, right? Like, oh, Judge is batting 200 and they're what in their last 10? You know what I mean? Like, and that's something that you keep hoping every year. It feels like 3 years, 4 years in a row that this has been the story. It's like you keep hoping that you're not going to have to be Judge or bust. And once again, it feels like that. And again, I know someone in the chat asked about the injury bug. Dude, it's going around. It's going around. It's hitting up everybody right now. Obviously, you saw Griffin Canning. If you didn't see him for the Mets during this start, Griffin Canning had what looked like, unfortunately, an Achilles injury. So that takes him out. The Mets pitching staff is banged up. The Yankees been dealing with it on both sides. It's that time of the year, man. It's that time of the summer. There you go.
Just muted. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Copy. So the injury bug, right? You bring up the injury bug. Every team is dealing with injuries right now. And it seems like the deeper we're going into the baseball season, the more the injuries are starting to pile up, Pete. I'm not sure if it's just the heat is getting to some players. Guys aren't stretching out the way that they're supposed to be, but you're seeing more of these injuries pop up, right? Going back to, you brought up the Yankees extra innings record. Did you know, since this Rob Manfred runner got introduced on the road, the Yankees have the worst record in baseball?
No way.
The Yankees have the worst record in baseball out of every other team. But
wait, that's when they're on the road.
When they're on the road. At home, to flip it, they have the best record.
That's, what's funny? Like, anecdotally to me, I always find that the ghost runner gives an advantage to the away team because you're having a chance to get that first run in first, right? And what's easier, to score a guy in from second when it's tied or when it's down, when you're down 1? So that's like counterintuitive to me, but it's nasty work out of the Yankees in extra innings. And like, do you blame Boone on this? I know we both made content about this during the week on our TikToks, Uptown Sports TV for you and Subway Sports Talk for me. I got friends, man, just crying. Judge doesn't know how to manage extra innings. Where are the fundamentals? I know somebody in the chat mentioned about like the little things in the lineup here, getting the little things done. It's just bizarre to me that the situational baseball for this team that I know doesn't necessarily focus on it because they're more about the
Yeah.
aggregate and the analytics.
Mm-hmm.
But it's crazy that it's this glaring of an issue sometimes.
Before I answer, I want to shout out the chat. Shout out to Pretty Lou that's in the
Chat.
building. My man Heck is in the building. Jacob Petruzzi is in the building. One of the best moderators that are out there in the YouTube world. Shout out to Jacob Petruzzi. Make sure you subscribe and follow all of the TikToks, Uptown Sports TV, Subway Sports Talk. Shout out my guy Anthony Rivera who just texted me Subway to Shay. I will be on his show on the 6th, talking Yankees Mets Subway Series. Look out for that.
Oh, and wait, real quick, Heck, I'll be on his show Sunday at 10 a.m.
Yeah, so how you like that? Back to back Uptown Sports TV boys on the channel with our guy Anthony Rivera over there. But no, back to your question before I get to Johnny Boy's question. It's hard to blame Boone because the Yankees were in a stretch right now, 16 games in a row. The Yankees bullpen was depleted, right? It's 100 degrees in Cincinnati. Everybody is saying, oh, Carlos Rodon needs to go out there. We need an extra inning from Carlos Rodon. If Carlos Rodon is telling you in the middle of June that he is bent, he has nothing else to give you, why are you going to try to force Carlos Rodon to go out there to steal you an extra out or two? That's one. Second thing, right? Timely hitting. Baseball IQ. Making sure you know the situation when you're in those situations. That has been an issue for not only the New York Yankees, but the Mets have been dealing with that. The Boston Red Sox have been dealing with that. Every other team has been dealing with baseball players having this one moment during the game where they have these brain farts and they forgot the position that they are in. Example, when the Yankees were in Boston getting their ass whooped trying to come back and win some games, Jason Dominguez got thrown out in between second or third because he forgot what the count was. He thought Trent Grisham struck out when the count was 2-2 and they caught him sleeping, right? So yes, I understand situational hitting, situational baseball has to get better with the New York Yankees. I do not blame them. But when you have the Yankees bullpen the way it is right now, Devin Williams, Pete, do you know how many times Devin Williams pitched multiple innings when he was with Milwaukee in his career?
I'm assuming a lot.
Zero.
Oh, zero. Never?
Zero. Never pitched more than at least over the past 4 years, right? I'm not sure when he first came up, but over the past 4 years, he's never pitched multiple innings, right? So Yankee fans screaming for that. I don't understand it. We just got him back. He just started figuring his back. Now you want to mess him up? That's one thing, right? But again, when it comes down to it, do I blame Boone having to stick with Mark Leiter after throwing 27 pitches the night before? No, because who he had in the bullpen was JT Brubaker, a guy who's a career minor leaguer.
Yeah. You don't want that. You don't want that sauce. And it's strange because I feel like with all the Boone criticisms that have taken place over the last years, and we all know they're happening every single day, right? The one thing that you kind of haven't touched with him as a hater, if you will, is the bullpen management. It's like the one thing that I feel like he's universally beloved for. Now, you know what I mean? Like,
I was going to say, Yankee fans hearing you, Peter, are throwing stuff against the wall because that's the one thing I believe you. I'm on the same page as you. Most Yankee fans, they hate the way that Aaron Boone manages the bullpen, and they say he don't know how to manage a bullpen, which I think is just stupid.
I think that's like his biggest strength, honestly. I'm surprised. I truly, and like that, maybe my Met fan is showing a little bit. Let me turn my hat around real quick because I might be wrong showing my Met side, but like a bunch of my Yankee friends are always like, well, at least we know the bullpen will be good because Aaron Boone has always managed that well. That's just my friends. It's my people, I guess. But like, to me, that's the number one thing you don't have to worry about with him.
Yeah.
But this year, I think the contention specifically came from Devin Williams came in. He got the beer policy changed. Some weird people are still hating about that. Get over it. And then Luke Weaver was so nasty last year, started the year so good this year, and Devin Williams was struggling. They so desperately wanted Luke Weaver to be the closer. And I'm like, yo, I think I commented this on your post the other day. The best version of this Yankees bullpen is so clear to me. It's Devin Williams in the 9th and Luke Weaver at the next most high leverage spot, whether that's the 6th, 7th, or 8th. It should be a non-starter from there. That is the best version of this bullpen. And I'm sorry, when you are double digits games above 500, you work to get to that best version of yourself and you deal with some bumps in the road. To me, that's easy.
Pete, I 100% agree with you. Having conversations with Yankee fans, well, I would say like 80 to 90% of Yankee fans I can't stand, and sometimes I have to smell on a bag of lavender to calm my stress down, having to have these conversations with them because I'm in agreement and I'm lockstep with you when you're talking about Aaron Boone. Now, does he make some decisions that make you scratch your head? Yeah, 100%. Like Jason Dominguez, he got 4 hits yesterday. Trent Grisham got 4 hits yesterday. I wonder if Jason Dominguez is going to be in the starting lineup tomorrow because for some reason they do not want to give this kid, scheduled day off after having a day off today, right? It annoys me. But my one issue with the lineup, if I really have to be, if I have to get on my soapbox for a second, is the fact that I look over to the Mets and you guys told your catcher, who's supposed to be a catcher of the future, Francisco Alvarez, you got to go back down to the minors and you got to figure it out because for some reason it's not working here at the major league level. The fact that the Yankees have not had that conversation with Austin Wells, or the fact that that conversation hasn't been a whisper or a rumor floating around there, is something that, as a Yankee fan and a content creator, frustrates me because when you look at JC Escara, his defensive metrics are way better than Austin Wells. His on base percentage, he's hitting as well. When you look at him, you would think, oh, it's a bleep on the radar. Like, you know, he's having a couple of good weeks when it comes to hitting. This man won the batting title in the Lindor series during the wintertime for the Dominican Caribbean League.
And like, listen, when again, it goes back to this riding the hot hand, which doesn't seem to exist. It doesn't crack the brains of the Yankees leadership, right? Like Volpe has been struggling so hard, has the best game of his season. He's got to have his scheduled day off tomorrow. Like we can't move it. We can't wait for him to go 0 for 4 and then give him the day off. Like, to me, if I were in that, you know, in those conversations with Boone and Cashman, et cetera, I would just go straight up, guys, can we just try to maneuver this a little bit? I know we do what we do. We stick to what we see by the numbers, et cetera. They need days off. Sure, I'm fine with that. Days off are great. But can we at least appease somebody, including the players who probably don't want those days off at that point in time, and give them a shot to roll a little bit? Like momentum, I'm not the biggest, like, momentum is everything in sports guy. It's just not kind of like my MO. I do believe in the aggregate in a lot of ways. However, look at Juan Soto, right? He was struggling. He's now getting so smoking hot. You think they're going to give him a scheduled day off now? No. He just had one of the best hitting seasons or best hitting months in Mets history. It's not the time to schedule a day off. Let's move it. Let's change it up a little bit. Come on. Like, what are we doing here?
There was something like when you bring up momentum, right? Because I'm in agreement with you. Old school baseball, right? If somebody is hot, you got to roll with them. You got to put them out there, right? Clint Frazier or Jackson Frazier, whatever his name is, right? Former Yankee top prospect. His name? Yeah, Clint Jackson Frazier, and then he wanted to go by Jackson Frazier, but now it's back to Clint Frazier, whatever his name, Mr. Jackson, right? Or Mr. Frazier.
Mr. Jackson.
He was on Foul Territory. Shout out to Scott Braun and the fellas over there, friends of the channel. Talking about the Yankees front office and the Yankees analytic department. And he said that they told him, Pete, that, oh, we don't believe in players getting hot. We don't believe in that. We believe in the analytics, and the numbers show us that players don't get hot. They're just random occurrences, and we're just going to go with the numbers that the computer print out. Now, the old school baseball fan do not like that. The new school baseball fan, maybe 50-50. I want to know where Pete sits on it. Are you an analytic guy? Are you more of the old school approach? Where do you sit in this conversation when it comes to the pencil squares and the calculators?
At large, I am an analytics guy, but there has to be room for wiggle. There has to be wiggle room. I think that's why, you know, I'll bring up Buck Showalter, for example, right? He was probably the opposite of that, where he like, all right, analytics, you got it, but I'm still going to make my decision. I think a lot of people respect that. Does it work in the long haul? Clearly not. My man's been fired a lot, never got over the hump. Great dude. Shout out to Buck. I love you. But you know what I'm saying? Like Carlos Mendoza, for whatever flaws you might want to point to him, I do think he seems to have found that balance a little bit, right? Like, okay, most times I'm going to go with the book, but there's some times where I got to do what I believe in. I'm going to make this decision with conviction. So I generally agree and leaning towards analytics side of things, But at some point, when those things are not leading you to the results you want, you have to try something a little bit different. So I don't believe it as much in like getting hot as like maybe the old school guy would.
Yeah.
But it matters a little bit because the mental psyche of these dudes, like if you ever think about it, maybe in their aggregate for 160 games, they were hot for 20 games. And that's why they got to the aggregate. You know what I mean? Like, so those stretches do matter. You can't just look at the 160 and say, oh, it doesn't matter how we play him, when we play him, because he's still going to get to his 160. Like, no, it's the same thing in every other sport. Like, if you look at basketball, if somebody's shooting lights out, bro, feed the man. You know what I mean? Mikal Bridges is 4 for 4 in the first quarter. Let's keep giving him the ball until he misses one or two, and then we'll go back to it. Campaign, bruh. Campaign checks into the game. You let him shoot twice. If he makes two, you let him keep shooting. He misses two, yank, you're gone. That's natural occurrences in the brains of human beings. So I think that I'm 80% analytics, but you got to leave that 20% at least for the gut check.
I'm with you again, 50-50. You know, second convo me and Pete are agreeing on. We got to find some shit to disagree on.
You can disagree if you want. I feel like you're a little bit different than me. No.
What I was gonna say is that when you look at the data, right, you can have all the analytics you want. You can have all the advanced analytics you want, Pete. If you don't have the right coaching staff in place to relay that data, to implement that data into practice, you're shooting yourself in the foot. All you're doing is just printing out stats, not knowing what to do with it, right? So I feel that there should be a perfect balance when it comes to analytics and when it comes to coaching, right? Because at the end of the day, you need to have the right coaches in place to relay that data to the players so the players could then be the best version of themselves on the field. If you're just putting all your eggs in a basket to just hire all the number guys, all the guys coming out of MIT, the rocket scientists that could take numbers and create equations, and you're not focusing on building a coaching staff full of winners, a coaching staff that understand how to win baseball games, a coaching staff that could take the new age technology and implement that in 2025 to get the best version of that team. If you're not going 50-50 with it, you're just arguing or you're just winning a winless battle between yourself and the coach that you have on the field.
Yeah,
there should be a perfect balance, bro.
And I think, like, if you think about the Mets again, because I know we're going to segue in a minute with a few other topics too, but like Steve Gelb just gave a story from Mendoza over the last week or so, and they were talking about the struggles that the Mets were dealing with, and Mendoza referenced like this mental skill coach that they had during spring training or something like that, and they were talking about the Buffalo, right? And the Buffaloes, they herd up when there's a storm coming. They don't run away from the storm. They run into the storm so they can get past it quicker, right? It's a smart little thing that the Buffaloes do to get away from the storm quicker. Keith made a big joke about it. Keith was like, the Buffaloes are still getting shot from range. I'm like, all right, Keith. But the idea of that, like the fact that Mendoza is bringing that concept into the locker room is anti-analytics, right? Because analytics would say, oh, there's a storm here. Doesn't matter. We just do what we do. The storm will end, right? But mentally, you need that edge sometimes to say, no. Push through the storm. Give that extra effort. Give the little extra juice or creativity or et cetera that you need to kind of shake things up a little bit. So yeah, I kind of think that needs to exist a little bit. And anyone who played sports at any level, like, you know that that's real, bro. That there's a reason that these like innings happen, right? Like the game the Mets hit 7 solo home runs or something like that a couple weeks ago. Like, you're telling me that the ball flying out the park didn't give some juice to the rest of the lineup? Like, yo, we hitting home runs tonight. Let's go. Like, it does, man. You can't explain it. You can't calculate it, but that's absolute fact.
Yeah, that's a stat that doesn't show up on a computer printout of advanced analytics, right? There's no WOBA for that shit.
And in the aggregate, you know what I'm saying? Like, in the aggregate, Trent Grisham has 13 or 14 home runs now, something like that? 15, my bad. Selling my man short. But in reality, what'd he do? He had multiple multi-home run games in the first, 2-3 weeks of the season. So is he aggregating 15 home runs perfectly equally over his first 200 at-bats of the season? No. Yeah. He got freaking hot for the first few weeks, man. And then he slowed down and now he's back up to speed. So, bruh, you need a little bit of balance in your life.
three things that I want to bring up. Guys, we got over 150 in the building. If you guys can, please smack that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you guys are watching us on Twitter, if you're watching us on Instagram, click the link in the bio. Come on over to YouTube, because on YouTube, we're sitting at 5,482 subscribers. I got a question from Johnny. Johnny says, question for the panel. Should the New York Mets drink Joe Boo's rum to help stop the injuries? I got some Uncle Nearest right here. I don't got no Joe Boo, but I got some Uncle Nearest. If you don't know the story about Uncle Nearest was the man who actually invented the recipe for Jim Beam whiskey. It was stolen from him.
Is that bourbon?
Family, it's a whiskey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Uncle Nearest. This is 115 proof. This is shit that they use in Back to the Future and Back to the Future 3.
That should push some hair on your chest, bro.
But yeah, facts. But Johnny's second question, the real question, with the pitching clock, do we believe this is the reason for the injuries to us pitchers? Since the pitch clock was put in place, the rate of injured pitchers has gone up. Pete, I'll toss it over to you, brother.
I don't know. I didn't see the data. I'd love to know how much. If it's like a negligible amount, I don't know. I really believe that some of the injury stuff is coming down to the absolute like specificity that these guys are playing with. And when I say that, I mean like the amount of pitches they're throwing, the amount of torque that's on these pitches is so different from what it used to be. Like you got guys coming in for maybe only one inning at a time, but they're throwing every pitch with so much emphasis and so much spin, and the spin rate. I would almost say that spin rate is as much of a factor as this pitching clock, if not more, because every year that we've gone with the pitch clock, spin rate has become more and more of a talking point. And if you ever played baseball, to get more spin, you got to snap the wrist that much harder, which puts not only pressure on the wrist, on the elbow, on the shoulder, et cetera, depending on your arm slot. So I would say no to the pitching clock being a major factor in this. I would lean more towards just how intense these guys all train and work. And you would think that that creates more strength and less injury. But in fact, because of how specific their strength is and how hard they're throwing the ball, that's the bigger factor in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Another topic where I agree with you with, because when you look at it, right, the increase not only of the spin rate, but of the velocity of the fastball, right? The fact that everybody is chasing velocity now, right? One thing that I love to point out is that when Babe Ruth was hitting home runs left and right, eating chicken wings and hot dogs during baseball games, when he hit all of those home runs, the average fastball was 68 miles per hour. Sheesh. When Babe Ruth was hitting home runs. At the end of when the Yankees and the Mets played in the Subway Series in 2000, the average fastball in Major League Baseball was 89 miles per hour. Right now in 2025, the average mile per hour on a fastball is 95 miles per hour. The increase in the velocity of fastball has attributed greatly to the increase in injuries, specifically Tommy John injuries that are occurring in baseball, because our bodies aren't meant to throw fastballs at 95 or 100 miles per hour. When you have a Aroldis Chapman, who is a physical freak specimen, the reason why he was never injured, because he is long. He's like Slender Man, right? He could generate that type of velocity because it's all coming from the bottom of his body. One conversation I was having with both Al and Jack Leiter when Jack Leiter was with the Rangers back in New York, we was having that conversation about the injuries. And Al said, when you see pitchers that are chasing velocity, their velocity is coming from their upper body, which leads to Tommy John. Pitchers who rely on their lower body to drive and build velocity, that's how you avoid Tommy John or any type of elbow or shoulder injuries, because you're relying on your lower body, not the top half of your body.
Yeah, no, it's super interesting. I was talking, one of my best friends is a strength coach. Now he's not like a medical doctor, but the like strength coaches understand the body as much as anybody, right? And I was asking about the Achilles thing after the Halliburton stuff, and what he was curious about is more of like a thesis for him, not like it was factor or anything like that, but the way he trains people comes into play. He's like, I'm curious what the people who are getting injured do all off season. It feels like the people who get injured are the people who are obsessive with their footwork, obsessive with getting better at all the specificities of the game. And those guys, like Jason Tatum, for example, it sounds like he's the type of dude that all year long, off season, on season, is working on footwork, working on drive moves, working on get offs. And those maneuvers are not as natural to the body. So you're putting pressure, right? Like I heard Doc Rivers say, back in the day, we weren't doing all this crazy stuff in the offseason. We were just playing pickup on friggin' blacktop. That's why all of our knees went. None of us had Achilles injuries because our knees got shocked. We're playing on blacktop all summer. It's a different beast now when you got guys working with specific trainers and coaches who are like working on jump stops, Euro steps, all these step backs, things like that are putting all sorts of different pressures on the different parts of your body. And I think that in baseball is the same concept. You know what I mean? Like when you're doing the same repetitive thing over and over and over again, certain things are going to wear down.
Also, too, when you have travel ball and they have young pitchers who are 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, showcase kids that are pitching twice, 3 times during a week, throwing 80, 90. What are we doing? Like at some point, the adults need to step in and be actual adults. What has happened, Pete, is that there have been industries created between AAU, travel baseball, where these coaches and these organizations, they're profiting off of these young kids, making money off of these young kids. So the idea of learning how to play the game of baseball, it's out the window. That's why kids don't know situational baseball. That's why Jason Dominguez is being thrown out, not paying attention what the count is, because growing up, all he did was showcase his talents. All he did was showcase baseball. He was never in actual in-game situations.
Yeah. And no, it's facts. I'll never forget because I work at a school and somebody told me that their son's, bat speed velocity was in the 80th percentile for his age range. I go, what? You got access to numbers? Like, what are you even, how? You're talking about a 14-year-old or 15-year-old. He's in the 80th percentile of bat speed in his age range. I'm like, first of all, there's no way that everybody, you got everybody's data, right? So like, first of all, you ain't got everybody's data. That percentage is a weird number. Percentile is a weird number. But why is that a main concern for a 15-year-old? That shouldn't be even in a 15-year-old's mind. It should be hitting the ball as best as you can, working on your swing as best as you can. But like my spin rate is 92nd percentile for 13-year-olds. That should not exist in a 13-year-old's world. Like it just shouldn't. I'm sorry. It's not mentally healthy and clearly not physically healthy for a lot of these people.
Yeah, because again, you're not playing the game. You're showcasing your talent. You're just trying to go out there to chase velocity. So hopefully you could be the next viral clip going around on social media. The fact, Pete, that there was a clip on TikTok a couple of weeks ago of a 12-year-old kid in the Dominican Republic circulating and going viral, throwing 92 miles per hour. I don't care what the circumstances are. It should be no kid 12 years old throwing 90 miles per hour.
Right.
I don't care how big his body is or anything like that. You shouldn't be allowing them to do that. And
you got to be like, you almost like get skeptical. You're like, all right, is this kid going to last? You know what I mean? Because burnout's a real thing too. I didn't even play that long. I played into college, so I didn't go beyond that by any means. Hardly even played when I was in college. I was freaking defensive replacement pinch runner for the most part. I was burnt out. You know what I mean? Playing every summer, 40 games every summer. I'm like, I was burnt out. There's guys who play even way more than that. Some guys play all year round, and that's just a different beast, man.
Listen, as a 20-year veteran of MLB to show the actual league, I know what burnout is. Trust me. Shout out to the chat. We got over 180 in the building. My man Johnny says, I miss the day when we can see the pitcher and catcher working on framing a pitch. And this is something that I want to talk to you about, Pete. I'm gonna put a pin in that because I want to get back to the Mets. I want us to keep talking about the Mets. Go back to that game from yesterday. It was firework nights at Citi Field as the New York Mets, they put a beating on the Atlanta Braves. Juan Soto had 2 home runs. Juan Soto, he has 19 home runs on the season right now, if I'm not mistaken. He has the youngest player with the most multi-home run games in Major League Baseball, trailing who? Jimmy Fox, right? That old man, what's his name?
Yeah, Jimmy Fox. You got it.
Go ahead, Pete. I'll toss it over to you, brother.
Yeah, man, it's been a weird run here for the Mets because if you ask a Met fan, 2.5 weeks ago, what do you want the most in your life right now? And you would say Juan Soto to start mashing the ball. that's what you want most. And guess what? We got it. And guess what? The Mets have sucked since he started smashing the ball. They can't seem to figure it out. Right now, they're up 2-0 against the Atlanta Braves. Obviously, we mentioned before Griffin Canning injury looked like possible Achilles, which is very tough with the starting pitching. But this has just been a team now for 2.5 weeks that can't put a full game together. To go back to the concept of some of the fundamental things, it's like, oh, the Mets have a lead today. And what could they do now to mess that up? One day it was an Alvarez mistake behind the plate. One day it's just a blow-up inning. One day it's walks. One day it's you have runners on and you can't score. Like there was a game, I forget which one it was, Mets against Zach Wheeler. First inning, bases loaded, don't get a run in. And then all of a sudden it's tight. Boom, Phillies are gone. You're never going to catch up again. And it's been those little things that have been biting the Mets in the ass over and over again for these last few weeks. And it feels like every win is so momentous. And last night specifically, you were there, so you can probably tell better than me. I was just watching on TV. It felt momentous for the Mets to get that win yesterday with Soto's 2 home runs, the McNeil robbery. Diaz had to come in late to close it up after the young kid couldn't finish the job. But this win yesterday and hopefully another win tonight, they're up 2-0 as Soto just gets another base hit in the bottom of the 7th. Like it feels like they're turning a corner. And that's something good because now if Soto starts to hit the way continues to hit the way he is, Lindor and Alonso get a little bit back on track here, then you're cooking with gas. And that's been the whole question. Pitching is hurt right now. Yeah. We are not blaming the pitching staff right now. That's what what I'm doing. I ain't blaming the pitching staff right now. Senga's out, McGill's out, Montas just come back, Manaya's not back yet. Now Canning's out. It ain't on them. Offense needs to grow a pair and win some games by driving in runs.
Frankie Montas could be special for you guys. His first start back, those 5 innings looked, I was watching that start, watching the video from it, and that looked like Frankie Montas, not from his time with the New York Yankees. That looked like Frankie Montas with his time with the Oakland Athletics when he was one of the top pitchers in the American League. Not saying that he's going to turn into a Cy Young contender, but if Frankie Montas can give you valuable innings, waiting for Kodai Senga to come back, waiting for the rest of the starting rotation to get healthy, going towards the July 31st MLB trade deadline where trades will happen and the New York Mets will get some help, whether that's a bat like Luis Robert Jr., or whether that's a pitcher like Sandy Alcantara, I don't know. But the Mets will be getting some reinforcements at the trade deadline. That definitely is a given.
And Sandy was such like a thing for all of us in the preseason. Like, yo, we can go get that guy. He's been really, I think up and down's almost generous for him. I got him on my fantasy team, so I feel the pain right now. He has not been very good. But that might be the chance to like buy low, right? Buy low. If he's not performing, maybe you get him a little bit cheaper. And the change of scenery could be exactly what it is. So take your aggregate numbers and shove it. He just needs a change of scenery. That ain't analytics. That's just human beings. He might need to get to a team that's got some juice going. And what Johnny Boy just said in the comment, I totally agree. Like the Mets having this struggle right now is kind of a good thing in a weird way. Like the Yankee fans can attest to this. Wasn't June abysmal for the Yankees last year too?
Oh my God. It's been abysmal for like the past 3 years. The June sucks.
What the only thing that was better for the Yankees and the Mets right now is that last year there was no one on the Mets ass. I'm sorry, on the Yankees ass. You got the Phillies who are above the Mets right now. You got the Braves with Acuna who are looking like a really great team again. So the Mets might not be able to afford as much of a slip up, but Johnny Boy, I agree, man. Like if this was it, if this was the worst part of the season that we just dealt with over the last 2 weeks, this season's an absolute win.
Right as of right now, the Yankees, they have a half-game lead on the Tampa Bay Rays. The Phillies and the Mets are both tied for first place as of right now. But like you said, nothing is guaranteed in baseball. Last year, the AL East, it was the Baltimore Orioles that was the only threat for the New York Yankees. Now the Tampa Bay Rays, they figured it out for some reason. Every year, everybody thinks that the Rays are just going to have to hit that reset button, and they never do. They never hit that reset button.
They find a way.
They find a way. No, this is the way, as they say. But one thing that I got to say that is grinding my gears, Pete, and it has to do with the New York Mets, specifically the game today. This is grinding my gear. I know it's personal at this point, but the fact that they are violating the giraffe from the Bronx, the fact that this giraffe, right?
The energy.
What are you doing?
No!
He's got hit with a chair.
With the TNA wrestler
was here tonight. Saw
It was that bodega cat and came in and clotheslined my guy.
Yeah, man. It's the if it's the Montreal screw job in baseball. That's what it is. All right. The fact that the giraffe from the Bronx gets no love.
Yo, has my guy from the Staten Island Ferry gotten any wins yet this year?
I think he got one win.
Baby.
Yeah,
Come
he got
on.
one win. But the dead ass Jeffrey, the dead ass giraffe from the Bronx, he gets no love in Citi Field.
Now here's the question: will Jeffrey the dead ass giraffe, which is the best name, and I wish people caught on to that because we've been saying it since preseason. Will Jeffrey the dead ass giraffe ever get a win? Will he ever get one win?
I hope. I hope. So during Tom and Jerry's run, Tom caught Jerry at least once. So maybe.
Well, he caught him all the time. He just couldn't hold on to him for more than a second.
Yeah, facts. No, but listen, when it comes down to it, both teams in the month of June, we can say that they sucked, right? Both
Facts.
The Yankees and the Mets equally across the board, right?
Mm-hmm.
In June, baseball in New York City has been ass because both the Yankees and the Mets, they have been struggling. But Pete, we understand it's 162 games for a reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a sprint, not a marathon. Wait, it's a marathon, not a sprint, as they say. Or if I got that wrong, if I fucked that up, I'm sorry.
Right.
Oh, cool. Copy. I got some brownie points. Every team goes through, as I say, their dry spells. The Yankees had a dry spell. The Mets had an even drier spell, right? Every team goes through that. It's how you get out of it. How does your front office handle adversity? And when it comes down to it, I have all the faith in the world in Brian Cashman to figure it out before the trade deadline, if not sooner. And when it comes to David Stern, I'm going to keep on saying it. He is the smartest general manager in all of Major League Baseball. And I'm so jealous that you guys have him over there.
I mean, I'm thrilled. And David Stearns, I trust still. I know some people on the Mets side of things definitely go up and down with what's going on there. By the way, Jeff McNeil with a 2-run single before the Mets are now up 4-0. David Stearns is doing all the right things, pushing all the right buttons. He has his work cut out for him now coming up to this break because they're a championship contender. That's legit. That's not a joke conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real conversation. So what are they going to do to make this team better? Or are they going to say the classic Cashman phrase, getting Sean Manaea back is like getting a trade. And that drives fans nuts, dude. We know what you mean, but also no. How about that? No. Add somebody. Manaea's been on this team. He's been accounted for by us fans and by you guys probably this entire time, right? So you might need to add a little something else here. I'm fine to see Blake Tidwell make another couple appearances up top at the bigs because I felt that second start was much better than his first start. Give him a chance. Perhaps we might have to see him now a little bit more with Griffin Canning going down. But that's got to be a serious conversation for the Mets of how they can make this pitching staff, withstand these injuries. But thankfully, really quick here in June, thankfully the Mets right before their absolute slide against Tampa, Atlanta, and Philly, they did win, 6 in a row. And I believe it was 7, 8, 9, 10 out of 12 in June. So their overall June record will look pretty mediocre to like average. They'll be about 500 if they finish okay against Pittsburgh here.
Yeah.
But yeah, now that stretch of 3 in a row to Tampa, 3 in a row to Atlanta, 2 out of 3 from Philly, and then losing 2 to Atlanta. It was brutal for us Mets fans. Just you get that feeling in your gut again. How are we going to lose this one? Right. And when you have that feeling as a fan, it takes time to get back to a place where you can trust your team again in a way.
Can I ask you as a Met fan, a hypothetical for the trade deadline? 2 former Mets that will be available to be traded for to see if you want them.
Hit me.
The first one, Jacob deGrom.
Are you kidding me?
Is that somebody that you would want back?
With open arms.
Copy.
Let me hit you with this real quick. With arms wide open. Yeah, I'll take him yesterday, dude. Come on. Not only is he absolutely shoving out there in Texas. Texas is not playing great baseball right now. I don't care that he left and he kind of chose to leave or whatever. I think the Mets were like okay with it. It was a weird thing. That's past, man. That's history. Jacob deGrom back in the orange and blue. That'd be beautiful. That'd be damn beautiful. Heck.
Now the second one that I want to throw out there, because like I said, 2 former Mets. Seth Lugo.
Ooh. I haven't kept tabs on what Seth Lugo's up to this season. Is he crushing it like he was the past few?
Seth Lugo, let me get you his stats right now.
I'm pulling him up too. Because I mean, I love Seth Lugo.
He's at 2.93 ERA. He has a 4-5 record. Obviously, the Kansas City Royals suck right now. He has a 1.05 WHIP. He is a solid starter, Seth Lugo.
Nah,
and
he's a beast.
The money,
I'll take him back as well tomorrow.
The money is more favorable for Seth Lugo, and he may not cost you as much when it comes to prospects.
Yeah, no, I wanted to just make sure because I have not been keeping tabs on my man. I knew he was a beast last year. Yeah, let's bring him back. I mean, he's fantastic. He was the type of guy for the Mets, like when he really hit stride, where it was like any given day, you're like, of course, Seth Lugo's appearing. Of course, Seth Lugo's appearing. I mean, he was playing games left and right. He wasn't even starting a ton with the Mets. I think early on, he started a few games, or not early on, in like 2020 range. He was starting a few games, but he's been a reliever. Now he's been a starter for 3 years and has just been a dog, dude. Like I'm all in if they're able to get a guy like him back.
Yeah, he's making $15 million this season, and he has a player option for next year. He's definitely declining that player option so he can get paid. He's in the perfect place to get paid right now. So honestly, your setup it's either you trade for Seth Lugo, who may not cost you as much prospects. He's cheap, more of a rental for this for just the rest of the year, or Jacob deGrom, who's making $40 million this year, 38 next year, 37 the following year, and the last year on his contract is a club option for $20 million. And
makes it a little bit different.
Seth Lugo is 2 years younger. Sorry about that.
I think if I'm going to put my David Stearns hat on here, I think, and my Johnny boy seems to agree with this, I think Seth Lugo is the better option. I think selfishly as a fan, I would just die to see Jacob deGrom back on this team when the team's actually good. I just want to see that so desperately again. But as a GM, put my GM hat on real quick, the Seth Lugo option makes a ton more sense. And based on David Stearns, he doesn't like to pay pitchers who are older. He just doesn't. I don't think he'll want to keep that salary on for a guy. I mean, Seth Lugo ain't cheap. I mean, ain't young, but his contract's not as long. So Lugo is more realistic and makes more sense.
Yeah, and like I said, him being a rental for just the second half of the season, it's not going to cost you as much when it comes to prospect. You're still going to have to give some stuff up because there's going to be other teams that are going to try to bid for him. But if I'm the New York Mets, if I'm David Stern, I'm calling up Kansas City. I'm trying to reunite with the Puerto Rican Seth Lugo.
Yeah, no, facts, bro. Seth Lugo, welcome back with open arms, with arms wide open once again. Nah, for real. He's just a guy who shoves, man. And you know what? In this day and age, I think the inning eater doesn't get as much love. Like remember back in the day, you had these like number 4 starters. It's like, he's not great, but my man will just eat innings. And
the John Garlands of the world, the Jared Washburns of the world, right? Those were inning eaters.
Right. And now granted, Seth Lugo, that would be kind of an insult to him based upon his numbers right now, like a 3.0 last year in the ERA, a 2.9 like you mentioned before this year. So he's better than an innings eater, but he also pitched 206 innings last year. So he eats the innings, man. So that would be fantastic. I just don't think it's I just don't know if that's going to be a David Stearns pull, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Johnny says, F it, bring back Steven Matz if we bring back Jacob deGrom.
Yo, Syndergaard's out there somewhere, right? He's a free agent. Is he retired?
Syndergaard's out there. We need to get the old Avengers. We need to get that.
Can you pull up a picture of that dude, Pintaro, who pitched for the Mets last year? Can you do that real quick? I think his name's Pintaro.
What was his first name?
Ah, man.
I got you. Hold on.
Is it Anthony? I want to say Anthony. Jonathan?
Jonathan Pintaro.
Little picture of this dude. Tell me that this dude is going to be so mean. Tell me he's not Stumpy Syndergaard, bro. Tell me he's not Mini Thor, bro.
Hold on, I'm trying to.
He's Mjolnir. He ain't Stormbreaker. Because I was watching this dude last night. He's got like a short blonde flow. Good looking dude, whatever. But he literally looks like if Syndergaard just got kind of like smushed into like the Minecraft world.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so mean. Look at that. Come on. Stumper guard. He can shove though. He can pitch it. He was throwing some nasty pitches. He couldn't get the job done yesterday, but I kind of liked what I saw from my man.
Yeah,
so,
like you said,
calling you Stumpy.
A rookie just trying to figure it out. More of a control issue at the end of the game. Right. He does have solid numbers in the minors. Listen, like I said, there's going to be way more players available this trade deadline than last year. I personally feel for the New York Yankees. Like I said, you can never have too much pitching. That's why I'm probably one of the only Yankee fans that's trying to welcome back Marcus Stroman, who will be starting for the team next week. But one player that I have for the New York Yankees to target, just one player, Eugenio Suarez, the third baseman from the Arizona Diamondbacks.
I love it.
Professional hitter, could play above average defense at that position. You get him at third base. You move Jazz Chisholm back to his natural, better position defensively of second base. You move DJ LeMahieu to be an option to come off of the bench. I think that's a solid way to go for the New York Yankees. That's how you solve the third base problem.
And Suarez, for the record, over the last 5 years now, 31 home runs, 22, 30, and 25 so far. He has 25 home runs this year already.
That's crazy.
What?
That's crazy.
Get this guy.
I think his stats are inflated because he's played in Cincinnati. He played in Arizona. When he was with the Mariners wasn't hitting that many home runs.
With the Mariners, though, 31, 22 in the 2 years. That's not bad. That's professional.
No, that's not bad. That's not bad. Yeah.
That's professional. Nah, I feel that. And I will say one more thing, because I know we're going to segue to the Knicks right now, and also why we do that. I have the NBA draft on. Probably right as we finish up this podcast. The Knicks will make their selection with the number 50 overall.
Oh, RJ Lewis. I'm RJ Lewis. I'm telling you, Pete. RJ Lewis is coming to the Garden.
You might be saying something here. I can see that. I can see that.
He has a real tight relationship with Karl Anthony Towns too.
Love that. We'll see. I guess we shall see. We have 5 picks more to go until the Knicks are on the clock. So one last thing. Because the Yankees with this analytic stuff and whatever and hitting the home runs and blah, blah, blah. It's a conversation we've been having for 10 years. I've always likened the Yankees to the Boston Celtics, right? And that should be a compliment for many reasons. Most championships. Congratulations to y'all. I don't like it, but congratulations to y'all. But also they have
both teams before the Civil Rights Bill was passed, but okay.
Yeah, you're throwing shade at your own squad as you got the Yankee you got the Yankee jersey on. You're still throwing the shade. Fair enough, though. Facts. But I've always likened those two franchises, and now especially with the way that the Boston Celtics play basketball, with this 3-point idea, we're just going to rip threes. We got shooters. Do you feel like, because the Yankees are similar and they're trying to hit home runs, no one's shying away from that concept. Do you ever feel like the Yankees are that team without having the horses? Like, I don't know if they got the dudes on the squad to be like this home run hitting team, this team that should rely on a long ball. Because if you think about it, again, in the aggregate, they got dudes who have been hitting home runs. I know Grisham's got 15 and Ben Rice got 14 and da-da-da-da-da. There's only one power hitter on the roster.
Yeah.
So can you rely on this concept of a team that drives the baseball out of the yard when you don't really have power hitters? And I guess Giancarlo Stanton too. We'll throw him in there. But do you get what I'm saying at all? Does this make any sense? Or am I hating?
No, I'm getting everything that you're laying down, right? Giancarlo Stanton, probably the only person that has been performing for the New York Yankees in the postseason since he has come over and started donning those pinstripes. But in the Aaron Judge era of Yankee baseball, 2016, 2017, Aaron Judge has been in the league. The reason why the Yankees have not won a World Series in that time frame, Pete, it falls on one person. It's not Brian Cashman. It ain't Aaron Boone. It's on Aaron Judge.
Oh.
Because when you look at this run in the postseason, it hasn't been the Yankees pitching. Outside of Garrett Cole fumbling the ball against the Red Sox in that wild card, he was dealing with a hamstring issue, so I don't blame him 100%. And this time, in this Aaron Judge era, our pitching has been awesome. Our bullpen has been solid. Aroldis Chapman giving up the home run to Altuve. Yeah. Do you know what Aaron Judge's batting average is in the postseason, Pete?
212.
205.
Dang.
Aaron Judge in 200 at-bats has the third worst batting average in the history of baseball in the postseason. The third worst. And you know what's a kicker? You know who's number 5 on that list with 200 at-bats?
The 5 the best, top 5?
5. No, worse. So Aaron Judge is the third worst. Has the third worst batting average and over 200 at-bats, minimum 200 at-bats in the postseason and all of baseball history.
Is it A-Rod?
Nope. It's a current Yankee.
It's a current Yankee?
Yankee.
Is it DJ?
It's Cody Bellinger.
Oh, my God. Oh no, dude.
It's Cody Bellinger, bro.
Wow. I wouldn't have guessed that because you know what? When he's been good, he's obviously been good in his career. When they were making postseason runs, there was so much talent on that team that like he can just slide through. And I'll give Judge the one little bit since you gave him the shit stat there. I'll say this. If you think about the teams where the Yankees won the World Series, there were multiple all-stars in the lineup, multiple Hall of Fame players in the lineup. And the Yankees with Aaron Judge have not had that. Like you think back to that 90s, 2000s run, the lineup was like hitter, 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 09. I mean, Jeter and A-Rod says enough, but then you're talking about Mark Teixeira. You're talking about just dudes up and down the lineup. Judge hasn't had that help. Now, granted, he hasn't helped himself. I'll give everybody that. I agree. But it's almost like in the NBA when you blame Jokic for not winning the championship this year. My man has never played with a current all-star, right? So I do feel like a little bit of that for Judge. It hurts. I mean, granted, you can't bat 205, my guy. But you got to be doing something more. But you also need a little help.
Here it is right here. I got the bat. This is according to StatMuse. Reggie Sanders is number one, a 195 batting average, 221 at bats. Will Smith, former Dodger catcher, 200 batting average, 210. Then you got Judge, 205, 220. Josh Reddick, 207, 227. And Cody Bellinger is sitting right there at number 5. And then you got former Yankee and former Met Robinson Cano at number 8.
And former Yankee David Justice, too. Look at that.
And former Yankee David Justice. So there you go. And like I said, Pete, and no shade to Judge. Judge is my captain. Judge is my Superman. Hold on. The Judge is my Superman. I got the bobblehead here. I got that's mad cute, right? Go fuck yourself. And then I got the other 62 bobblehead right here. So Judge is my guy. This is no shade to Aaron Judge. But if the offense is built around you, if you are, as I may say, the straw that stirs the drink, as you are, Mr. Aaron Judge, you are the captain of this team. If you are having a 205 batting average for your career in the postseason, you're not going to win many World Series. You're lucky that you got there last year, and that was because of Juan Soto.
And Giancarlo Stanton, because my guy rakes in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But you know what, too? And it sucks the most with Yankee fans because y'all are used to your captain, Derek Jeter, whose stats are almost identical in the playoffs, if not better. Like, you look at Derek Jeter's baseball reference and just like look through his career stats and then click the playoff tab, and you're like, oh, he was exactly the same or better in every playoffs. Like that's unheard of. And you maybe don't expect that, but Judge got crap last year, rightfully so. If he doesn't show up in the playoffs again this year, like he's on the milk carton for real. Like he is going to get a load of crap from this town. And guess what? At this point, it's deserved. Like it sucks for someone who's so damn good, the best right-handed hitter we've ever watched.
Yeah.
Straight up, full stop. If he don't get it done in the playoffs, he will deserve all the hate that he gets.
You know who may be undeserving of some hate if they don't figure out their issue right now with what's going
this
on
guy's
with
a pro, dude.
You see that, right? You see that, right?
Come on.
We got to do it.
Keep going.
We got to do it. Leon Rose and the New York Knicks and the situation that's going on right now with their head coach. Tom Thibodeau got fired. It feels like he got fired in 2024. That's what it feels like. That's how long it's been since the New York Knicks fired Tom Thibodeau, and it's just been rejection after rejection after rejection. Pete, when are the New York Knicks going to announce their new head coach? What's your thoughts, Pete?
Hold up, because let me clarify for a minute. I have thoughts on this. Hector, first and foremost, how many candidates have rejected the Knicks so far?
Oh, God. Off the top of my head, I want to say, well,
yes,
candidates.
Yep, you got it. You figured it out.
The candidates, there's been 0 candidates. There's been teams rejecting and stopping the Knicks from talking to them.
Correct. So this narrative that the Knicks are getting shut down from Ime Udoka and Jason Kidd, that is not reality. The teams in which they are under contract did not allow the Knicks to, poach them. That is normal. 99.9% of teams will not allow their current sitting head coach to interview for another job. So I don't want to hear that, first and foremost. All that stuff out the window to me. Second thing to this process for me, does any other team have a vacancy at their head coach? No, they do not. Nope. Which means the Knicks are not competing with anybody here. They are not. There is no need to rush this process. There is every reason for them to take as long as they damn please to figure out who their next coach is going to be. Now, there's obviously a point of diminishing return where it starts approaching like spring, summer ball and camp and all that stuff where it's like, all right, man, we should know who our coach is here. But right now, it doesn't matter. Like they've only interviewed 4 people so far. There's going to be 4 or 5 or 6 more interviews probably, no matter who they pick. Even if they pick Mike Brown, which would drive me nuts. I do not want Mike Brown to be the coach of the Knicks. We'll get into candidates in a second here. So this narrative to me that the Knicks don't have a plan, the Knicks don't know what they're doing, that Leon Rose is on the hot seat, you can miss me with every single piece of that, heck.
When you asked me the question,
I saw you spinning.
Once you said it, I'm like, oh, snap. Pete's 100% right. Because I ain't think about that. It's not Jason Kidd saying I don't want to coach the Knicks. It's not Ime Udoka saying that he doesn't want to coach the Knicks. It's the Rockets. It's the Dallas Mavericks not letting the Knicks talk to them. And again, Pete, that's why all hail Pete. All praise to Pete, because you just brought me back down to earth. When it comes to the situation, right, the one thing that has given me a little bit of pause and hesitation just to give my blind trust to this front office, to the Knicks, is the fact that when the Knicks got good under Leon Rose, where was James Dolan? What was he doing?
He was building a circle in Vegas.
He was building the sphere in Vegas. He was not caring about the New York Knicks.
Correct.
And as soon as he came back and the Knicks went on this deep playoff run, Pete, James Dolan had a moment with the fans after the Knicks won a game, and he exited the garden. He lowered the window of that car, and he had that moment with the kid that he said, here, give this to the kid. And Knicks fans fell in love with him. And James Dolan was feeling that love on Twitter. James Dolan must have fell into a Knicks Twitter space and was hearing Knicks fans saying, Dolan needs to fire Tom Thibodeau. We ain't going to win shit without Tom Thibodeau. And he fired Tom Thibodeau. Now, did Tom Thibodeau utilize his bench like most Knicks fans would want to? No, no, he didn't. I praise Tom Thibodeau for the job he did with the New York Knicks, getting us out of mediocrity, getting us to where we was at last year, making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I praise you, Tom Thibodeau, and I thank you. There was a video that came out. I think it was from Clutch Sports, Clutch Points. I forgot what outlet put it out, but it was The Athletic that put it out on Twitter, showing Tyrese Halliburton shot make chart for the playoffs. Tyrese Halliburton.
The Ringer put it out.
The Ringer put it out. Thank you, Pete. Tyrese Halliburton, Pete, in the playoffs shot 30% from the left-hand side of the court. Yep. If you're Tom Thibodeau, if you are a head coach that is a defensive head coach, a defensive guru, if you didn't realize that, and if you didn't implement that into the postseason, I don't feel sorry for you. My man, I'm actually going to pack your bags and kick your ass on the way out.
Yeah, dude, listen, I'm at peace, man. I am at peace with Tom Thibodeau not being the coach of the New York Giants, geez Louise, the New York Knicks anymore. It's time. It's okay. Listen, Tom Thibodeau, we are forever indebted to what you did for this franchise. You set the bar. The floor has been set. And now this roster will maintain that floor if me and you were the coach of this franchise, bro. We're talking about Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG, Cat, Hart, Mitchell Robinson, Deuce McBride. Those 7 people right there are a 50-win team in this Eastern Conference. I don't care who's coaching. It doesn't matter. Pick one. Doesn't matter. What you need now is not to just be specifically better than Tom Thibodeau. It is to be specifically different from Tom Thibodeau. And that's why I'm interested in James Borrego. That's why I'm interested in Johnny Bryant. It's why I'm not interested in Mike Malone. Mike Malone's a cookie cutter carbon copy of Tom Thibodeau. You know, change one little idea here, idea there. They're the same dude, man. They're the same exact guy. I want somebody with offensive juice who's going to revamp how this team plays offensive basketball. Because if you thought the offense was good for most of last year, let's see it with a guy who's known to be creative. James Borrego had LaMelo Ball at 20, Miles Bridges, Terry Rozier, and half a season of Gordon Hayward. They won 43 games. And Michael Jordan, who does not know how to run a basketball team, fired my man after getting the Charlotte Hornets double digits wins better 2 years in a row. First coach in NBA history to be fired after getting double digits wins better for 2 years in a row. Have the Hornets done a damn thing since? Hell no. Now you can say Borrego's defense, whatever. Look at that roster, dude. They were playing Mason Plumlee and Montrezl Harrell as their bigs. Are we serious right now? That team won 43 games. LaMelo was 20. We're talking about Brunson and this crew with a guy like James Borrego, who has been at the cutting edge of creativity for basketball on the offensive side, coached under Popovich. We love a Popovich disciple.
Yep.
That's a guy who I love. I want to see somebody like that. Taylor Jenkins, I like him too. I ranked it on a show I did earlier this week.
That's my pick.
Borrego's 1, Jenkins 1B, and Johnny Bryant's number 2 or number 3, whatever you want to call it. Those are my big 3 right now. And I'm still in and confident as ever in Leon Rose and this franchise to make the right decision here.
Yep, I'm 100%. Another topic with me and Pete agree on, but for me, Taylor Jenkins is
when you're right, you have to agree.
Exactly. If I had to rank them, for me, it would be Jenkins is number 1, and it's a toss-up and it's a tie with Johnny Bryant and Borrego. The reason why I say that with Johnny Bryant is because when Leon Rose came over, one of the first things that he did was bring over Johnny Bryant. That was the first thing he did. And he brought him over with the intention of getting Donovan Mitchell. Everybody keeps on forgetting that. That was his intention. That was his whole goal, to get Donovan Mitchell and Karl Anthony Towns on the same team. He was only able to get one of them. All these Knicks fans that are talking about, we got to trade Karl Anthony Towns. We got to trade OG Anunoby. We got to trade Mikal Bridges. No, you absolutely do not. If there's anybody that you trade, it's a guy like Mitchell Robinson, who's on an expiring contract, who you could probably get 2 role pieces back in return for, but you don't trade anyone from your starting rotation. You don't trade Josh Hart. That's another name that people keep throwing out there in trades. I don't want to be the person that's celebrating people getting injured. I don't want to sound like that Knicks fan, Pete. But when you look at the landscape of the Eastern Conference next year, with Jason Tatum most likely done for the season, with Dame Lillard done for the season, with Tyrese Halliburton as well most likely done for the season, you are at a moment where, one, you just made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. You need to get back to there, if not exceed that. And you need to take advantage of a weakened Eastern Conference going forward, because the Cavs are going to get better and the Pistons are going to get better. You have to get better on top of it.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where, Knicks fans get these odds, and the Knicks are on the clock, by the way, perfect timing. Like I said, the Knicks get these odds thrown out, right? Like the past 2-3 years. Oh, the Knicks are the 6th favorite to win the NBA championship. People like, the Knicks ain't got no shot, blah, blah, blah. Now they're the 4th favorite. The Knicks got no shot, blah, blah, blah. Now they're the 2nd favorite in the NBA to win the championship. And guess what? That's the right odds, man. That's right. That is the correct placement for the New York Knicks. They should be the favorite right now to win the Eastern Conference. I think the Cavs and the Knicks should equally be the favorites, or Knicks I put right above for the playoff success they had last year. That's real. That conversation is not Knicks fans trying to stir up whatever. It's not Knicks fans getting biased because we're in New York. That is legitimately the belief that this roster can win the Eastern Conference. That's Vegas putting their money where their mouth is, believing that this team is the best chance to win it. So when you have all those factors together, yeah, of course you got to get the coach right. And of course you want to be different from the guy you just fired. Otherwise you wouldn't have fired him. So I like Taylor Jenkins. I like James Borrego. I like Johnny Bryant. Those are good options. The Knicks know what they're doing and they have a plan. So I am so here for it. I can't wait to see who they hire so we can critique him up and down and get jacked up for the end of October for this series, for the season to kick off. But I'm here for it, man. In Leon, I trusted last year. In Leon, I trust now, and I'm sticking with it.
Same. I just want to touch on one more thing when it comes to Tyrese Halliburton, right? I know we brought him up because we talked about the injuries. Again, I don't want to be that Knicks fan that's celebrating anybody getting injured, right? Tyrese Halliburton, I know you're not going to see this, right? But if there's any Pacer fans out there, if any Pacer fans that watch this part of the live or this part of the pod, this is one thing I want to say. As a diehard Knicks fan, I'm speaking for myself. I wish Tyrese Halliburton a speedy recovery. I wish him a speedy recovery. Why? Because I want Jalen Brunson to have his rival in the East. Tyrese Halliburton is the same guy that on draft night, the night he got drafted, us Knicks fans, me specifically, wanted the Knicks to draft him over Obi Toppin. We drafted Obi Toppin, and we were screaming and we wanted him. When he was in Sacramento and there was all these trade rumors, I was a Knicks fan as well that wanted the Knicks to trade for Tyrese Halliburton before he got traded to Indiana, before Jalen Brunson was ever over here with the New York Knicks. So I hope Tyrese Halliburton comes back healthy. I hope Tyrese Halliburton comes back as the same version of himself, because I want my team to have their rival, and he's our rival right now.
Yeah, I didn't get the nickname Pacer Pete for nothing, bro. So I'm with you. They play a fun style of ball. Also, the Knicks pick is in. It is not RJ Lewis. Oh, it is Kobe Sanders, a wing from Nevada, who I never heard of, but he's 6'7", 205. He got versatility. I'm just reading the words on the TV right now. Versatility, third team, All Mountain West. But no, to go back to the point, I also can separate my fandom from the reality of the game that we watch. Mm-hmm. And I love how Tyrese Halliburton plays basketball. I feel comfortable in myself to say that out loud as a Knicks fan, because it's true. He plays a style of basketball that I subscribe to. He moves the ball like crazy. The ball don't stick. He can get hot. He is not a shoot-first player, which is somebody who I like to watch play basketball. So all these haters out there saying everyone plays the same, everyone just shoots threes, but then they shit on Tyrese Halliburton. Like, well, then you don't watch my man. You don't watch him, because that's not how he plays. He plays the game the right way. He really, really does. So I want to appreciate that real quick as he recovers, but we won't miss him this 1 year. We won't miss him. And shout out to my guy, Pep. I think that's my boy, Pep, I believe. Shout out to him, Pep the Entertainer.
Shout out to Pep in the building. Kobe Sanders is the future. Listen, I hope he is. I hope he is. You know, I'm still waiting for, was it Pacom Dadiat?
Pacom Dadier, bro. I have
Dadier. I have some faith in him. It's just the Knicks have been spurned by like French people, you know, ever since Frank Ntilikina and all these other French players that have came over. You know, I have a French last name as a Puerto Rican, so I can say that, you know. Yeah, I have a French toothbrush, you know, so I can get away with that. But last thing, right? Free agency, right? You saw Kyrie Irving. What's your thoughts on Kyrie Irving? Like opting out and then immediately re-signing that. Like, I think that was a smart move from Kyrie.
Smart, dude, 100%. I couldn't believe that Stephen A. Smith was trying to make something like it was an insult for him to get what he got. Are you kidding me?
No, he's getting paid $40 million a season.
$40 million a year, bro. My guy is 34. He's got an ACL. He's not coming back until halfway through the year, first of all. And also, he hasn't played more than 60 games in 5 years. So it's not like this guy's the picture of health. I've gone not just 360. I've gone 720 on Kyrie Irving in his career. I loved him. I hated him. I loved him. I hated him. I loved him. I hated him. I've always respected him. I've always been in awe of his talent. Those things are non-negotiable to me. I did question if I thought he played a winning style of basketball. I did question if he was a number one. I don't think he's number one. Never thought he was a number one. I think he's an awesome number two. And in his maturity, basketball-wise, I'm not even talking about as a human being. I've always liked him as a human being. As a basketball player, he has become a point guard. Really. Yeah. Like, he wasn't always a real point guard, and part of that was playing with LeBron at such a young age and your roles changing and things like that. And then being in Boston, being like the guy with all these young dudes, like, it was different. He's a real point guard now. He is not a number one. He's making damn $40 million a year. He's going to be 34 years old. He's doing great. Good for you, Kyrie. Stephen A., the hell you talking about, man? Come on.
Yeah. Now, if you're Jason Kidd, you got to ask yourself, do you want to leave that situation? If you were Jason Kidd, Cooper you just Flag, got the first pick, Cooper Flag. You got Anthony Davis, who's coming back from injuries. You got Kyrie Irving coming back. Would you want to stay in Dallas, or would you want to come to New York to possibly coach Giannis?
So wait, hold up real quick. Kobe Sanders might not be a Knick. Yo, Pep, your boy's on fraud watch right now. Kobe Sanders might be traded to the Clippers, and the Knicks traded out a one pick. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, if I'm Jason Kidd, I am staying in Dallas. I think for two reasons. A, being Cooper Flag, and B, being, I don't know if Kid needs the smoke of New York City in his life. He is an intense dude. He obviously has had success as a coach. He has had some weird crash outs as a coach as well. I don't think the Knicks are the location for him to be that coach. And I ain't talking about anything else that happened off the field, because we got people online bringing a lot of that stuff up. Whatever happened. I'm not going to talk about it right now because I don't have the breadth of knowledge of all that stuff. All I know is he's a coach in the NBA right now. As an NBA coach who knocked over drinks on the sideline to try to get an extra timeout, to getting fired in Milwaukee, to then making a finals in Dallas, and then being a part of this weird ass Luka Doncic trade, I'm good. That's how I'm going to leave it. I'm good as a Knicks fan. As a Jason Kidd, if I were Jason Kidd, I am taking Cooper Flag and running as far as I can with that one man. And that's that. It's that simple to me. Yeah.
Listen, if you look at it now, Cooper Flag just got drafted to the Mavs, their situation. If I'm Jason Kidd, I'm staying put. And then when you look at Houston, if you're Ime Udoka, you just traded for Kevin Durant. Why would nowhere. I want? You ain't going nowhere. This was your guy. This is the guy that if the Knicks were to get you, they would trade for KD is in Houston. So those two, to me, they're not options whatsoever. It's everybody that we have mentioned. Johnny Bryant, I think is going to be Johnny Bryant.
I would be
if I had to put some money on it, I like the names that I mentioned and stuff, but I think it would be Johnny Bryant.
You're gonna laugh, bro. You are gonna laugh at this.
We got a French person.
Yeah, we got a French person.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, they traded for. This is great. They moved one spot. I don't get this. The Clippers were 51 and the Knicks were 50. The Knicks selected Kobe Sanders and then they traded it. So they swapped from 50 to 51, whatever. And they got Mohamed Diawara from France.
You can't make it up, bro. Literally, you can't make it up. Going Garden all season long. So everybody learn these words because the French national anthem will be here.
That's hilarious. That's really good. Oh man, heck, this has been fun, man. This has been fun. This is our second time on TIO Al and Friends without TIO Al, just friends, just me and you, and it's been fun. Just and we didn't even talk any Marvel.
Well, I was gonna save it for the end. Real quick. So this
might be the time.
Two things.
Okay, go ahead.
First one, did you see 28 Years Later?
No, but I never seen the weeks or the days. Or the hours.
All right, so I'm gonna put a pen in it because it was phenomenal. It was fucking awesome. Yeah, I'll give you some homework to do. Okay, Ironheart.
Mm-hmm.
You saw the first 2 episodes. I saw all 3. Let's get your first take on it.
First things first, the vibes are awesome in this show. Mm-hmm. And like it feels like a Marvel project, which is good, but it also feels like its own Marvel project, which is the most important thing. Because it's the first time a Marvel thing has been set in Chicago. Mm-hmm. And Riri Williams, who we've been introduced to in Wakanda Forever, where I thought her storyline lacked in that movie, but she didn't lack. Like she delivered everything she needed to do. And no spoilers, Johnny Boy.
Yeah, no spoilers, Johnny. No spoilers.
So she didn't lack. She was a great performer in the movie. I just thought her storyline was too or not enough in the larger story. Was that story? Jesus, Wakanda Forever. Coogler had so much that he had to accomplish with that. I love it. So anyways, Jack Mack in the comments, I tune in late. We're talking Marvel. What? Bro, we're about to play Marvel Rivals in like an hour. Don't give me that. So this show, I got to get back on track. Keep getting sidetracked here. This show right now, the vibes are fantastic. Riri Williams, the performance has been fantastic. The setting's awesome. The music's been awesome. Parker Robinson, Anthony Ramos, The Hood. Not a spoiler. His aura in the show right now, I think, is fitting so perfectly because, and I've only seen 2 episodes. I don't know, whatever. He is a likable guy who is supposed to be a villain, I guess, and I don't know, and it's a good thing that I don't know. I think one of the things that bothers me in not just Marvel stuff, but movies in general, like you see trailers, you see stuff online, you feel like you know everything. You feel like you've seen it all already. And I don't want to be seeing things before I see them. So I love what they're doing with the building of Ramos's character. I love what Riri is bringing to the screen right now. And right now, they have all the potential in the world to make this a great show. And through 2 episodes for me, all I know is I'm sat.
Yeah.
I'm watching the whole show. And that's a win right there. And all the stuff, I'm sure we'll get into it, but I'll just say this to end off my little take here. All this stuff online that has been hate about it, I truly just question what people are looking at, what people want from projects, and what people expect from projects. And there's so many people telling on themselves.
Yeah.
Because if you spewed hate about a show before it came out, and then it's out for 2 seconds and you're spewing the same exact hate, it just feels so inauthentic, and it feels so inappropriate, frankly, to people who just want to give things a chance first before jumping to crazy conclusions. And obviously, the unspoken is a lot of people who are dropping the hate. There are certain type of people that we don't want to engage with anyway, frankly.
Yeah. Yeah, and you set it up perfectly, right? Because when you talk about this show and seeing the online hate for Ironheart and seeing that before the show even came out, Pete, it had a 33% score on Rotten Tomato, and to see that immediately the next day it was up to 72%. So if you remove 77%, if you remove that 33%, this IP is close to 95, if not 97% when it comes to their score on Rotten Tomato. You could use that as a measure all you want, but like you said, when it comes to the tone, when it comes to it feeling like its own product, its own movie, right? Its own IP set in the Marvel universe. This doesn't have like the references to like, oh, everybody was wanting, I want to see the Hulk here. I want to see Spider-Man. Where's this person? No, this is set in Chicago, like you said, not to spoil anything like that. But I think it's going to tie well into the whole Doctor Doom lore, and they're setting it up perfectly. Anthony Ramos' character, the Hood, that entire crew that they assemble, all the side characters. If you guys know if you guys know anything about any of those characters, especially like the computer person with the green hair, their
Slug?
character, Slug, it's from fucking X-Men and shit like that. If you know, you know. So when you look at the side characters that they're building, this is going to be real fun.
Yeah, and that's at the end of the day, man, like this is entertainment. We are here to have fun. We are here to be entertained. We're here to be watching stories. And this is a story that we haven't seen before. And my biggest pet peeve across all media is if something's the same. Oh man, they just giving us the same crap left and right. Okay, here's something new. Oh man, this new stuff ain't hitting. I miss the old stuff. Like, bro, what do you want, man? What do you possibly want from these shows? And I also am a firm believer in like not every show, not every episode is going to be a 10 out of 10. I wouldn't rank this a 10 out of 10 right now. I have it in the mid 80s. That's a fantastic score in my opinion. I'm waiting to hold out to give it my full grade, of course. It's not the best thing I ever watched in my entire life. I'm having a damn good time and it's really good. And like, that's fun. Okay. When did it become a problem for something to be an 87, a 92, an 81, and to not shit on it? Like it doesn't make any sense to me. Even like a show like Miss Marvel, because I heard someone make the comparison here, right? It's like, oh, I didn't like Miss Marvel because it was like a kid's show. Okay, it was too childish for you. Okay, that's fine. That's your opinion. But did you come into the show with a preconceived notion like, who is this Kamala Khan lady? I don't think I'm going to like this one. This one's probably not for me. Then you're probably setting yourself up for failure. You know what I mean? And that's what bothers me as a fan of things in general. Don't set yourself up for failure because then you're really just hating from outside the club.
Yeah. Something that me and my girlfriend, we try to teach our nephew is don't yuck someone else's stuff. Right. So if like, say like if I'm eating something, right, Pete, my nephew, we try to teach them to be like, oh, that looks nasty. That don't yuck someone's stuff, right? So if I'm enjoying this, if I'm watching, if you want to watch your Duck Dynasty, go ahead and watch your fucking Duck Dynasty. I don't care. Yeah. But if I'm enjoying Miss Marvel, if I'm enjoying these IPs, let me enjoy it, right? Because you bring up Miss Marvel saying it's too much of a kid show. Oh my God, you mean the character that's from the fucking Young Avengers is too much of a kid show? Yeah. On Disney? Yeah, too much of a kid show on Disney?
The Teen Titans is too young for you, bro? Come on.
But again, when I look at it, right, again, when you're introducing these characters, I appreciate Marvel trying to have Robert Downey Jr. on the last day try to hype this up to put some oomph behind it because of all the online hate that it was receiving. And like you're saying, a lot of people are telling of themselves when it comes to the hate that this show is getting for no as reason. And the last thing I'm going to say, we can exit off with this, is that when you look at the show, from the score, from the moment that you get into it, the moment you're immersed into it, it feels like you're in a roller coaster and you're on a ride, and it feels fun. And I like to watch stuff that makes me feel fun, point blank. And I think, like I said, I think the score is fucking dope.
I agree. The music has been awesome. The score has been awesome. And on top of that, there's still more on this bone, right? There are things that if you're nerds like us, and Johnny Boy, he called himself a nerd, so you're one of us too. Shout out to you, Johnny Boy. Like, we might have an idea about stuff that might come, it might not come, whatever. So if something happens, we might not even be the most shocked ever, but it's still going to be really awesome. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And on top of that, my last thought on this, because we're going to go, but my last thought on this, and this goes to all things that are part of a larger IP, right? If you can pluck out a number of positives from something, it's still a win to me, right? Like She-Hulk is another example. People hated that show. I didn't think that show sucked.
Same.
It wasn't my favorite. It'd be pretty damn low on my rankings of all the other Marvel TV shows that came out. Not last, but lower. Mm-hmm. I thought the performance of She-Hulk herself, Tatiana,
was dope.
I can't remember her last name right now, but Tatiana was a good performer. And also, that show was a sitcom. It was supposed to be very different vibes than Daredevil, the first one from Netflix. You know what I'm saying? So to me, if you can pluck out that Kamala Khan was dope in Miss Marvel, that's a win. I thought the villain in that show was trash. The show overall, I liked a lot of it. But now we got this new character that exists in this world who's going to bring some great stuff to the screen. Win. That's simple, man. Like, if you don't love a whole thing, there's still some stuff that you might like. And take the positives for positives. Critique negatives however you want to critique them, as long as it's respectfully. That's it.
Yeah. And, you know, when you bring up the Kamala show, right, when you introduce characters like that, and when you see those characters pop back up in IPs like Daredevil with her father, he literally made that episode one of my favorite episodes of the season. Seeing her and then, like, you know, she's in San Francisco, knowing that, oh my God, we're gonna get West Coast Avengers. She's in San Francisco, blah blah blah. So when you introduce characters like that, it allows setups for later on down the line, and that's what Marvel does best. They set up stories not just for the now, but for 2 or 3 spinoffs down the line. That's what it is.
And you know, with comics too, because there's a lot of people out here, content creators, like we're not Marvel creators necessarily, but we're obviously talking about it right now. Like, if you're a comic reader, you didn't read every comic, man.
Yeah.
You didn't say that something was trash because you didn't read it. So, like, it's all good, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to watch a full season of baseball, and not every 162 game is going to knock your socks off. It's all good. And that's another part of it as well.
I'm going to keep on saying it, right? And I always love to bring it up whenever we have these conversations about comics and fantasy and stuff like that. But for these people that are complaining about this stuff that's going on in comic book movies based on the comics, myself, Pete, and other fellow comic book nerds, we can tell that you didn't read the source material. You know how I know you ain't read the source material? Because you're going to lose your fucking mind. Your brain's going to melt when you see Thor and Hercules kiss on screen. When Thor and Hercules have love on screen in a Marvel movie, you guys are going to lose your mind.
Lose it, bro. When they realize what the X-Men's really about. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, yeah.
But you know, it's such a good point. And like, it's okay. You don't have to read everything. I haven't read everything. I haven't read that much, honestly. I've read what I read, and it's all good. But, you know, it's just one of those things that drives me up a wall sometimes with like the conversation around it. And I think part of us as the creators of the world, like, part of it comes down to our fault, right? Because how many Marvel podcasts, DC podcasts, nerd culture podcasts been out there? You know what would be dope? If we took the 4th lead from this team up movie and gave them their own show. I want to see what they've been up to. Marvel did that. They listened to us because we watched Infinity War and Endgame and saw all these amazing characters. You know, it would be sick if we spent a whole week with Clint Barton, Hawkeye. Yeah, I agree. That would be sick. And then they gave it to us and we were like, nah, it's not as good as the movies that came out with way more budget and way more everything. Like, come on. We asked for it and then said, nah. Like, come on, whatever.
Listen,
I digress.
I love the spinoffs. I love
Me
What
too.
If. What If was one of my favorite things that they ever put out. I thought that was dope, but anything like that. But Pete, last thing, promote whatever you got. Let's get ready to wrap things up. What's the score for the Mets? Let's get an update score on the Mets.
4-0. They win, back in first place of the NL East above the Phillies. The Phillies got swept. Shout out. I mean, not shout out. Opposite of shout out to them. Screw them. Mets take 2 out of the 4 in Atlanta or against Atlanta. Back on top of the NL East. Very, very good. I'll plug 2 things. Our guy, Anthony Rivera, Subway to Shea. I'll be on with him at 10 a.m. on Sunday morning live in the flesh. And then Subway Sports Talk, always on my podcast app, on your podcast app, I should say, and on socials, TikTok especially. I'm cooking videos like every single day, and we're out here.
Yes. Great videos, by the way, that you have been cooking up on TikTok and stuff, bro. Just always want to tell you that. Shout out to everybody that's in the building. Like I said, make sure you guys follow Pete Kennedy on all social media platforms. Follow our guy, TIO Al, and Anthony Gallo as well. I'm your guy, Hector, one part of the Friends. Pete is the other part of the Friends. Shout out to Ghost, who is in the building. The People's Champ, Theo Dennis is in the building. Our friend Johnny, Lorenzo Cardona. Yeah, She-Hulk was better than the Defenders. I'm sorry. I think the worst part of the Defenders was the fucking guy that was playing Iron Fist. The fact that he didn't want to learn how to fight. I think that was horrible. Like, you're playing a character that literally uses his hands to beat people up.
The best martial artist on the planet.
And you ain't want to learn it. But anyway, that's another convo for another day. But yeah, make sure you guys follow on all social media platforms. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Visit LatinoSports.com to check out all the articles that we put out. And Al's on the Fan this weekend, right?
I think so. Also, I'm producing overnight, Friday into Saturday. So I'll be there midnight to 6 a.m. Friday midnight, 6 a.m. Saturday. And I'm hoping I'm producing for Al. But if not, it might be Gallo. I don't know. Gallo or Al are on the Fan this weekend at some point.
Well, make sure you guys tune in. Luke Cage was a superior show. I hope they bring that back. I hope they bring all those characters back. Jessica Jones is supposed to be coming back in the new season of Daredevil on Disney Plus. So I'm excited for that. Yeah, I'm excited for that. But Pete, appreciate you, brother. We got to do these more often. Hopefully Al and Gallo, they take more sick days so we could have these conversations and do more shows like this.
Gallo would be right here in the middle of this, and Al would be snoozing.
Al probably tuned in and probably gave us a thumbs down once he heard us talking about this. But I appreciate everybody for tuning in.
Unsubscribe from his own show.
Yeah. I'll close this out. I'm your guy, Hector Bochan from Uptown Sports TV. This is my brother, Mr. Pete Kennedy. Like always, folks, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, drink your water. And what you got to do, Pete?
Wash your ass.
Bingo, bango.